Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day today. I'll be the presenter for this evening. I'm Abhinash, and we'll be covering the getting started with Zoho projects, so the very basics of Zoho projects and how to get your project management processes in place. Now, this will be the first webinar with the new UI, so I hope everyone is ready for this. We will be covering the basics as well as we will be covering some of the transitions, the various screens that have been changed, and certain tweaks that we've done to the UI will also be touched upon. Now, consecutive webinars will also cover on the advanced part of Zoho projects and how to get your fine-tunings in place. But for today, we will stick to the basics and the initial steps. Now, we'll start with the signing up page as usual. Now, signing up process is quite simple and straightforward with Zoho projects. As you see, we are currently on zoho.com/projects. You can also go to projects.zoho.com or go to zoho.com and click on projects. So these are the fields that are going to be asked of you: the name, your organization's name, the email address, and the password with which you're going to sign up. So once I click on sign up, it's going to take a couple of minutes for this entire sign up process to complete. Your portal will be created with the company name, and you'll be taken to a screen where you can enter the basic information of your portal. As you see, the company name is displayed on your and you can close the pop-up. There will be some updates and initial introduction. Now we are inside the project. Inside the project portal, rather. Now, you see that there is an Explore Zoho Projects project. This is a default self-taught sort of project which you can follow step by step to catch up on the basics. But since we are on the webinar anyways, I'm going to ignore this and get to the point. Now, since we've just signed up, it's in the free edition with very limited features and access to create only one project. For the sake of this webinar, I'm going to switch over to an existing portal. Now, this is a test account that we have set up, and I have some test data with which I can take you through the basics of Zoho projects. Now, this would be your landing page by default. When you sign up for projects and sign in on a day-to-day basis, you land on the home page, which will keep you updated with what's going on across the various projects that you're working on. Now, you see that we have improved the home page to include much more of a widget or dashboard sort of outlook. So this will be enhanced going forward also. But for now, we have the My Tasks, the Overview, the Report section, and today's work items, overdue items, my bugs, my timesheets. All of these are available. Now, the first step that we need to do is not to look at the home section. Since we have just signed up, it's not necessary that you have any data. So the first thing that we want to do is to set up the users for your portal. Now, in order to add new users into your portal, just click on the setup icon right next to your profile picture. You'll find the users section here. When you click on the portal users, you'll find that I have some users added here. Since it's a test account, I have some data in it. But you'll find this mostly blank except for yourself. You can add users by clicking on the Add User section. It is very straightforward. Just add the user's email address, select the role, click the rate if you want to designate any rate for this particular user, and select the projects. There are two major classifications of users in Zoho projects: portal users and client users, as listed on the left-hand side. Now, Portal users are your internal users, the users who are going to be working on the project and your workflows, essentially. Client users are self-explanatory. They're clients for whom you're working on the project for. And portal users can be further classified into admins, managers, employees, and contractors. Admins have the highest level of access, say for the portal owner. Portal owner can upgrade or downgrade the account, and portal owner is the only one who's able to provide or revoke admin level access. Now, admin level access entails that you are by default added to every single project. No one can revoke any access for any particular project, and you will have the option to change any settings that impacts the entire portal as such. Managers, employees, and contractors, on the other hand, require to be added to specific projects before they can gain any access to those projects and the data relevant to it. Now, as explained, it's quite simple. Just click on the Add User section, select the projects to which they ought to be added. If it's admin by default, all the projects will be given access to. If there's any other user, you'll have to make sure that you select the projects for which you're granting access. It's very similar on the client user section as well. The only difference being that when you add the client user, you will be required to add the client's organization first. As you see on the top right, instead of the user, we have the button for adding client company. When you click on the Add Client Company option, only mandatory field is the name of the organization. The rest of the fields are for your reference, and based on your requirement, you can add the information such as the company's email address, the web address, the physical address, and such details. In order to add a client user for this particular organization, so the black headers that you see here, these are client organizations. Just click on the plus icon and add the client user by email. Now, for both portal users or client users, please note that once you have triggered an invite by adding their email address, an invite email will be sent out to the inbox of the user. They can use that to accept the invite and join the portal, set up their login credentials, and be on their way logging into your portal as such. If in case the user has missed out and the link has expired, on your end, you will get the option to resend the invite, which is displayed with the mail button here, or displayed in red. Just click on this to resend the invite. Now that we have set up the users, the next thing is to set up the projects. Just click on the Projects tab. By default, this will be your view, the view by group. Now we have two distinct views that would be classifying based on your definitions, the view by group and view by client. The view by group is a method of classifying the projects based on your internal structure. There's no rigid structure as to how to classify your groups. These will just act as labels or bins within which you can associate the projects. So whatever you see as black headers, these will be your groups, and you can associate the projects accordingly and classify them based on your convenience. In the view by client section, you will have the projects listed based on whatever client is added to those specific projects. The client's organization is going to be listed as headers, and you can see the projects associated with such clients under that particular heading. And view by owner will just give you information about which user owns which project. From any of these views, in order to add a new project, it's straightforward. Just click on the new project icon, provide the name of the project, click the owner, the start date, due date, the description, and the basic information of the project. And also, if you'd like to preload the information from a template, you can just select from one of your existing templates and load the data as such. Now this section is important, projects access. Now this will flag what level of access this project is going to provide the users. By default, all your projects will be private projects, meaning it will hold true the notion that managers, employees, and contractors will be required to be added to the project before they can get any access. If this is a public project, on the other hand, every single user in your portal will have access to this project, and that will be a viewership or read-only access. If you'd like them to have any edit or modification rights, please make sure that they are added to the user section of that particular project. And from the section, you can also choose whether you want all the users to access specific tabs or if you want to revoke certain tabs from the project. You can hide it. Now, as you see, by default, we have the top 5 recently accessed projects listed on top, and you have the various fields associated with the project, like the overall completion percentage, the completion percentage of tasks, and the start date, end date, priority, and the number of other custom fields that I have created. You can also add new fields by clicking on Manage Fields. As you see, we have a number of options that we support. There is the text field, which is available both in single-line text as well as multi-line text. There's a pick list that you can define. There's a user pick list based off the users in your portal. There are numeric fields, both integers and decimals, that you can define. There are also date fields that you can define here. Now, if you want to hide any of these, just click on Customize Column icon, and you can use the sliders to turn on or off any of the tabs that you, or the fields rather, that you'd like to hide or display. Now that we've created a project, or at least an empty project without a project plan, let us get into the option of looking into what the project entails and how to set the project up. So I have a test project here called Zoho, which is about e-commerce. Now the dashboard will be your default landing page on your project. You can go through the basic details and get up to date with what's going on and the basic information of the completion, budget, and such details. On the top of the dashboard, you will see the overall completion percentage of the project, the name of the project, the owner. The overview will be listed, which includes the description and the custom field values. To the right, you will find the start date, the due date, and the status, whether it's going on a lag or on time. If you scroll down, you'll have a number of widgets like the task status, the budget status, the timesheet entries, today's work items, weekly digest, which you can go back in time to look at certain weeks. You can also look at the milestone status, the top 5 users, upcoming events, overdue work items that need immediate attention, and the task progress chart. Now you can quickly turn off or on any of these widgets based on your requirement, and you can make sure that it remains in context and keeps your users updated with whatever is necessary. If you'd like to edit this project, just click on the 3 lines option and click on Edit Project. You'll be able to edit any of the project details from here. Now going over to the feed section. Now feeds is very similar to your Facebook wall or any other social media wall, if you will. You can post status messages, you can add tasks, milestones. A lot of quick add, or rather shortcuts, are available for you to quickly add the entities of the project from here. Now, apart from adding a status, we also have the option for you to tag users here and make sure that the users are notified. There's also an additional option to make this as a private status. Just put a check mark on direct message. So whoever is tagged in this particular status message will be the only user, or rather users, who will gain access to this particular status message. Now, since this is a test account, you're mostly seeing the activities of a single user, but in real time, you'll see the various activities of the various users in this project, their task delays, any pending tasks, any comments, forum posts, counter events, invoicing, all of those details, any update of tasks, everything will be listed as feeds here. If you click on the status tab, you'll look at all the status messages posted on this particular project. If you click on activity stream, you can look at the stream of activities done on this particular project. Now, for the sake of setting up this project, you will have to make a note of the hierarchy that is used within Zoho projects. Before you can set it up, make sure that you get the hierarchy right. So tasks will be your basic elements. Above them, you will have task lists, and above them, you will have milestones. So it is sort of like a tree. Multiple tasks can be associated with a single task list. Multiple task lists can be associated with a single milestone. Multiple milestones will make up a project. So what are milestones? Milestones are essentially major deliverables or major phases within your project. Make sure that when you take up a project, you break the project up into major phases or major deliverables, which are milestones. And going further, you can break those milestones down into sub-phases or task lists. Task lists can be used as sub-phases or as a means of grouping relevant tasks together. And further, you can break those task lists down into individual tasks. If there are any complex tasks, do not worry. You can set up subtasks for those tasks, and we also support multiple levels of subtasks based on your requirement. So although, for the sake of convenience, tasks is placed above, and milestones I've relegated to this section, you can always rearrange these. So for the sake of this webinar, I'm going to show you the milestones first, and then we'll move on to tasks. So when setting up the project, I'm going to essentially set up these major phases or major deliverables first. Adding a milestone is quite simple. Just click on Add Milestone, name the milestone, click on Start, and End Date. You can set up the start date and the end date from here, set up the owner of this particular milestone, set up the flag of the milestone. This is very important. By default, all the data that you add is going to be flagged as internal. Unless you specifically change it to external, it will always be internal and only going to be available for your portal users to access. If you would like your client users added to this project to have access to the data associated, then make sure that you flag this particular milestone or a task list as external. Only then will the clients have access. So I have some milestones set up here. If you click on any particular milestone, you'll see that I have a number of task lists here, which you can set up by just adding task list from here. When you click on a task list, you'll see the tasks within that. So for the sake of better context, I'm moving over to the Tasks tab, which will give you a much better picture and much more functionality. This is the Task tab. We have 4 different views: Classic, Plain, Dependency, and Kanban. Now the Classic view is going to be the most useful and the most comprehensive. As you see here, there are a number of black headers. These black headers are nothing but your task list. And whatever you see in green or red, these are your milestones. If they are overdue, then they are shown in red. If they are yet to, if the due date is upcoming, then it will be shown in green. On the Classic view, all the basic information such as the owner, start date, due date, duration, the creator of the task, the percentage of completion, the work as planned, and such details will be listed. So as such, you have the entire information of the project, like the milestone to which is associated, the task list, the tasks which you see as blue individual entities here, and subtasks are displayed similar to tasks, only that they are displayed diagonally to the parent task. So whatever task that you see placed diagonally, these are actually subtasks of the parent task. So it's also possible to have multiple levels. So let me show. Just click and drag and drop it onto a parent task. You'll see that now it's placed diagonally. So this is a subtask of SSL, and this is a subtask of mobile site design. So all of these fields can be updated from here. You just click on a particular field and update the value directly. So in order to add a task or a task list, it's fairly straightforward. Again, similar pattern. Just click on the button available on the top right. In order to add a task list, just click on the downward arrow and click on Add Task List. Mention the task list name and select the related milestone under which it falls. It'll be added as a header, and you can go on adding the task under that particular task list. When you click on the Add Task button, you'll be asked for the task name, the description, and the details of the task. Please note that we also have the option for you to import task or export task into spreadsheets, XLS or CSV format. Going over to the plain view. The plain view is a decluttered view. So it simplifies what you're looking at and orders all the tasks and subtasks as a single list based on their due dates. Now, why is this going to be useful? As you see, the classic view is much more comprehensive and will be very useful for your reporting purposes. On the other hand, if you'd like things to be decluttered, especially if it's a small project with like tasks less than 30 or 20 tasks, it would be much better and quicker for you to access the plain view and sort of your tasks based on due date. Going over to the dependency view. In this section, what is essentially, this is going to establish dependencies between the various tasks that you've set up. So it's up to you to define them. The tasks will be randomly numbered, and the task number will be given on the left-hand side. Just click on the child tasks predecessor column, enter the predecessor task number, and hit enter if we register the dependency. So as of now, we only support finish to start dependency model, which means the parent task due date should always be prior to the start date of the child task. Once dependency has been set up, whenever you postpone the due date of the parent task, the child tasks will, the children task will be moved further and further based on the delay. Now, this is only going to be delayed if the delay of the parent task is going to impact the start date of the child task. Going over to the Kanban structure, if you're familiar with the Kanban structure in any of the other softwares, what it essentially does, it enables you to quickly manage large amounts of data. We have 3 different types of Kanbans: Kanban by task list, Kanban by priority, and Kanban by percentage. In all of these, what you're going to do is essentially for quickly sorting out your priorities or changing the task lists or completion percentages, you can quickly drag and drop and make changes, and it will register it immediately. This is just a quick way of organizing or reorganizing your tasks. Now, in any of these views, when you click on any particular task, you will land on the details page of the task. So you can rename the task from the section here. You can look up the comments, add comments, collaborate with your colleagues, add description, add a subtask, log hours for this particular task, add timesheets essentially. Add any documents that you want associated, just drag and drop the files, or if you've already preloaded them, you can just select them and click on attach. You can associate any forum posts similarly, and also if you'd like to look at any activities, just click on the activities tab and every single edit will be listed here for you to look up. On the right hand side, you will have the basic details such as the followers of this task. You can add followers from here, the project name, the task list name, the owners, start date, due date, duration of the task, priority. All these could be changed from here. You can add reminders, and you can set this task up for recurrence if you'd like this task to recur every single week, or once in 2 weeks, once in 3 weeks, once in a month, once in a year. All of that sort of combinations are possible. You can also set up the work hours that ought to be worked on. A plan of the work hours can be put up here. Now that we've seen how to set up milestones and tasks, let's move on to the other modules which depend on this particular these data. The first one is calendar. Now this is a fully functional calendar. You can just click and drag on any particular bar. You'll see that the dates, whatever changes we make here, is going to reflect automatically on the data that we have set up. Now, this calendar that you see, whatever you see as green bars, these are tasks. Whatever you see as blue bars, these are milestones. In order to add a new entry into the calendar, just click on any particular date tile, enter the details, whether it is an event or it's a milestone or a task. You can directly add them from here. On the right-hand side, we have provided navigation for you to click on any particular month or year and go back or forward in time. Please note that you can simply have this calendar synced with your Google Calendar, iCalendar, Microsoft Outlook Calendar, and Zoho Calendar. You can also set up the events from here and look up just the events, whatever is upcoming or whatever has elapsed. You can schedule an event directly, enter the details, and save. Now this is the document section. Each project will get its own documents repository, and you'll find all the project-related files stored here, whatever you upload or whatever you want to create. Please know that this works with an integration with Zoho Docs. What it enables is for you to create and edit files directly online with a native editor. We have writer files that you can create or upload and edit here, spreadsheets, presentations, any Office file is supported essentially. You can upload any particular file format. We support all of the Office formats, PDFs, images, audio, video files, all of that is supported. So you really don't have anything to worry about in terms of supporting the various formats available. You can mark your documents as favorites. You can create multiple levels of folders and have them structured based on the folder level structuring. You can create multiple levels of subfolder. You can do all the basic functionality that's available for you to cut and paste, rename, and such. You also have the option for you to share the documents to any other external collaborators. and share them the documents link. You can also set up an expiration date. Now going over to the timesheet section. Now timesheets are essentially the actual number of hours that's been logged by the users. You can log it on the task as such from within the details page, or you can log it from here by clicking on add log time. Just specify the user for whom you're adding. So if you're an admin or a manager, you can log for any other user. If you're an employee or contractor, you can only log time for yourself. So the task, and enter the notes and the number of bars. You see that we are currently in the group by user view, where you can look up the values based on split up for each user. You also have the group by date, which enables you to look up the values group by date. If you'd like to log time in bulk, just click on the downward arrow on top, click on weekly log time. You can do this for multiple users at the same time. You can select the tasks, enter the log hours, and make these in bulk. We also have two separate views, the grid view and the calendar view, for you to log time and look up the details based on your requirement. In the invoices and expenses section, you'll be able to essentially, based off of your timesheet values, enter expenses, and the invoices can be created for you to bill your clients. Directly, you can create an invoice from within the system without using any external software. This will be enabled on integrating with Zoho Invoice or Zoho Books. The integration is available at free of cost. Now, this is a sample that we have. Of course, you can always change the layout of the invoice with the logo and line details. The text can be varied based on your company and the information that you want to put in. So this is just a test invoice that we have created. So creating an invoice is straightforward. Just click on Create Invoice. Enter the customer's name or the client organization. Select how to sort your invoice. What is the item name, whether it's project name or task name. What do you want as a date range. And for the specified date range, the timesheets will be loaded and you can create an invoice from there. Also, adding an expense is straightforward. Just click on Create Expense. Enter the details of the expense, such as the expense, what's it related to, the amount, and any attachments that support your expense can also be hosted here. Now, this is the forum section. Just like any other online blog, you can create multiple threads and have conversation with your teammates, brainstorm over specific ideas, or anything that is specific to a particular task can also be discussed here. So this is a test forum section that we have created. As you see, it gives a much better presentation in terms of formatting and supports rich text editor with the option for you to insert images, links, and codes. Going over to the Pages section. Now, the Pages section is envisaged as a internal knowledge base builder tool. So what it does, It enables you to quickly create a knowledge base file or a sitemap where you can load much of the technical details. This is especially useful for large projects with extraordinarily huge amounts of technical data that needs to be referenced by your employees. On the right-hand side, you'll find the option to navigate to other pages. You can create your own sitemap and have sub-pages set up. You can insert multiple widgets. As you see, this is one of the test pages that we have created. Just to give you an idea as to the capabilities, just click on Edit. And just under the widget section, these are the widgets that can be inserted. Zoho wiki panels, Zoho gadgets like docs, mail, calendar, tasks, notes, links, discussions. Social tools can be embedded here. Presentations, sheets, writer documents, Zoho calendar, Zoho Creator, which is an app to create small applets. Zoho Chat can be embedded here. Zoho Reports, the data analytics tool. Picasa, Box Folder, Google Search, Google Translate, and a number of other Google widgets can be also inserted here. So we have Box Finder, Google Maps, and we also have the option for you to make use of this iframe or embed option for you to embed any of your company's locally used website or applets. So this is quite a powerful tool based on your requirement and the amount of data that is required for the employees to reference. Now this is a chat section where you can create multiple chat rooms based off the users in this particular project. Just click on new chat topic, provide the chat room name, select the users who are to be involved, and save. It will create a chat room which you can join and have a chat with the users. Once done, you can always archive the chat and download the transcript based on your requirement. Now, there's a user section of this particular project. Earlier, we've seen the user section of the portal as such from the setup. Now, this defines who gains access to this particular project. You can always edit or remove any of the manager or admin role, manager or employee role users rather. And we come to the reports and Gantt chart section. Now this is the inbuilt reporting capabilities of the project's application. You just click on Gantt charts here to look at the two different Gantt charts that we have available. The chronology Gantt, which will sort all your tasks and subtasks in chronological order. The blue bars are tasks, the yellow ones are the subtasks, the darker portion is what is completed, the lighter portion is what is yet to be worked on. And the green lines that you see, these are dependencies that have been set up. It's quite simple and it's a fully functional Gantt chart. You can just move around and whatever edits that you make here is going to reflect on the system. And you can expand the duration. You can also set up dependency by click, hold, and drag. Simple as that. You can also remove the dependency by just hovering over the child task, click on predecessor, and cancel the dependency like that. You can rescale this Gantt chart. You can have this exported into a PDF format file or print it out directly. On the chronology Gantt, we saw that there are only tasks and subtasks. In the milestone Gantt, you'll get the full picture. Whatever you see in red, these bars are milestones. The black or grayish ones are the task list. As usual, the blue ones are tasks and the yellow ones are the subtasks. Darker portion is what is completed. The lighter portion is what is yet to be worked on. So here, it is ordered. All of your tasks and milestones are ordered based on the order that you have in your milestones tab. We have the resource utilization chart up next. Now, this gives you an idea as to how to manage multiple resources across multiple projects. This is like the resource utilization chart of this particular project. You can see that whenever a task is assigned to a user, you get the work hours planned here with the sliders option for you to change the work hours. So whenever a user is going to be completely engaged, so this setting is based on the hours that you have set up. I have set up a 40 hours week, 8 hours a day shift. So this user is completely using up all the number of hours allocated. If I am to add another task or burden, you'll see that it goes to red. You can either decide to tweak and bring the total hours under control using the sliders, or you can simply shift this over to another user and spread it across. This is the planned versus actual set. Now this gives a user-wise breakup of the amount of time that's planned as opposed to the actual number of hours that's logged until this point in time. Now if you want further breakup of the various tasks involved, just click on the downward arrow next to any particular user and you'll get the breakup of this particular user, the planned work hours for a task and the actual hours logged on that particular task. We also have some basic task reports, such as the status, task reports based on milestone, by priority, by owner, by completion percentage. You can also change this chart type into anything that is much more useful for you. And the timesheet reports just gives you the amount of hours logged. Since this is a test account, we just have one particular user. But in real time, you'll have a pie chart of various users logging their time. Now, this was a quick overview of the basics of Zoho projects. Whatever we've seen inside this project is going to be available on the home page as widgets, the same level of functionality and depth, only that they will be across all projects view. For example, when you click on My Task, it's essentially the Tasks tab across all projects. By default, though, there will be a Me filter filtering out the tasks assigned to you. But when you remove that, what you're essentially seeing is all tasks across all the projects listed on the same page. As you scroll down, more and more tasks will be loading up. You can apply filters and recover the data that you want to look up. The same is true for global reports, and this item is very useful for you to catch up on a day-to-day basis. Whatever overdue work items are available, you can spend your initial part of the day catching up on this particular work item so that you make sure that the overdue items are looked after and they are cleared up. The same is true for milestones. You click on View More, you'll get an overall view. You can remove the Me filter, and you'll see all the milestones across all the projects, not just what's assigned to you. And on the My Events page, you'll see the View More option will give you across projects view. You can also click on Calendar to look at the across projects view of the calendar section. Of course, you can always change the filter on this view too. Apart from this, Setup has a number of options which were earlier available either on the Projects tab or within the home page. The Setup has been revamped to be much more in tune to our latest UI. So you'll find under the Setup, the first option would be the user settings, like the information that's personal, your name, nickname, mobile, and other contact information, your landing page, the theme, and such details. You can set up notifications by clicking on notification on the left-hand side. enable the sliders for which you would like to receive notification emails. You can also schedule reminders for you to be automatically emailed by the system regarding your pending tasks, milestones as such. We have the portal settings, which is going to be available for admins and portal owners. You can upload your company's logo, change the company's name, change the portal owner. The current portal owner will be able to transfer the portal ownership to any of the admin role users currently available within the projects app. You can set up the holidays, the time format, the date format, the first day of the week, the business hours settings, the weekends, and organization-wide holidays. You can also set up a number of other information, which we'll see in the advanced webinar. Now, this is something that we need to take note. Task templates. Task templates are essentially a template of a list of tasks. Once you've set them up here, you will be able to use them. While adding a task list, you can load this template up and without having to manually add each task, load this entire list into the project that you're working on. There's another template, which is the project template, which can be accessed from the project section. So go to projects and go to templates. Now, as we've created a project, it's also simple to create a project template. Just click on new project template, provide the name, and provide the details of the template at the bottom. If you'd like to copy from an existing project, just choose the project, and your data can be copied from that particular project. So I have established a template here based on the same project that we've seen. Now, as you see here, on the left-hand side, you have limited number of tabs. This is because the rest of the tabs, like the calendar, timesheet, all of these come into play only after the project has been established. The chat section, all of that is only after the project has been established. So on the template level, you do not have a requirement to have that present. So you have tasks, milestones, documents, forums, and the users who are to be added to this particular template. And whenever you create a new project, the users, the tasks, milestones, documents, forum section, basically the basic data of the project will be loaded in, and you can cut down on your manual work considerably. From the project section, there's also the archive project section where you can look up all of your completed or archived projects. And you can also, from the downward arrow, choose the trash project section. So whatever you have trashed, you can look those projects up here, and you can do a permanent delete by clicking on the trash can from here. Once deleted from here, it cannot be restored. Going back to the setup, we also have other options for you to set up customization on the project level. Just click on project settings. You can edit the information of any particular project. Just select the project from here, from the downward arrow, and select the project and edit the project from here. Customize the tab, whichever has to be turned on or off, and select the project's email alias. This is very important. Email management is possible with Zoho projects. What it means is you can set up an email alias for this project. The first bit would be your company's name or the URL. After the underscore, this is customizable. By default, there will be a long string of numbers which can be changed. We recommend using the project's name, or if the project name is too long, use abbreviations. Once you've set this up, you will have this list of email aliases that you can use. You can use these to add a status, add a task, upload documents, or post a forum post directly from any emails. For example, if you have a conversation with your client or with any of the vendors, you can directly forward that email and add that as a forum post or add it as a task. So these are the important overview and the important features. I think it was a useful session for you all to get to know the basics and to get started. Now, If needs be, do not worry. We are always available at support@zohoprojects.com to help you out with any kind of query on any particular module. We'll be more than happy to assist you. And we have future webinars coming in that will help you out in catching up on further details, on further depth with respect to certain modules and settings. I hope you will join us for those webinars too. It was nice being your presenter for this day. Thank you for your time, and have a great day ahead.